My name is Gracie, and I'm 27 years old. I work as both a housewife and an office worker with a good position. My husband, Aaron, is the same age as me. He loves his mother a lot, and his mother, Eliza, enjoys making my life difficult. Despite the struggles in our marriage, Aaron and I just celebrated our second anniversary. I'm proud of how much I've been able to handle, and work has become my escape. Because of that, I've been getting promoted quickly, which isn't something many women experience. Right now, I'm on a business trip across Europe for meetings. I'm in the middle of an important meeting when my phone, which was on silent, started vibrating. I thought it might be an emergency because there were 2 missed calls. When I checked my phone, I saw that the calls were from my mother-in-law, Eliza. What's going on? I wondered. I hope nothing bad happened. I quickly decided to return the call. Just as I was about to leave the meeting to do that, my phone rang again, and it was Eliza. Hello, Gracie, where are you? She asked. I answered the call, but she sounded annoyed. Maybe I shouldn't have picked up, I muttered. Hello, Eliza, how are you? Is there something urgent? Why aren't you answering me? I just asked where you are, she snapped. I felt irritated by her tone, but I didn't want to argue because of the important meeting I was in. I calmly said, sorry, didn't Aaron tell you? I'm in a meeting on a business trip. Can I call you back when I'm done? She responded, of course Aaron told me, but why are you leaving your house and husband? Come back home right now. Her sudden and unreasonable demand threw me off. I'm sorry, Eliza, but I'm in the middle of an important meeting and I can't just. She cut me off, saying, you're so bossy, even though you're just Aaron's wife. I don't care about your reasons. Come back home now. Today is really important. Do you understand? Today is important? I asked, confused. I wanted to know what made today so special, so I asked her. We're celebrating my 60th birthday today, Eliza replied, sounding proud. I thought her birthday was supposed to be at the end of the month, and it was strange that she wanted to celebrate on a weekday while I was away on a business trip. Aaron and I had already planned a special celebration at a restaurant for her 60th birthday. I was getting really tired of Eliza trying to control me again. It felt like every year she was getting worse, especially when she knew I was busy with important work. So, I told her. As I said before, I'm on a business trip, so I can't come home right now. Oh, really? Because I called Aaron earlier, and he said he'd take the day off for me. All the relatives will be there, except for you. You're always working. You're so cold. What do you think of your husband's parents? She said sarcastically. I didn't want to deal with her anymore. I had an important meeting, so I just said, I'm sorry, but I can't come to your 60th birthday celebration, no matter what you say. Eliza stopped being sarcastic and took a deep breath. Then she said, well, if that's the case, I won't recognize you as family. Don't bother coming home. It's over. Aaron deserves better than you. She said all this without stopping to take a breath. I was angry and upset, but I didn't want to keep arguing with her on the phone. I said, okay, I'll talk to you when I get home. I'm sorry, but I really have to go. Then Eliza said, what's with that attitude? I told you not to come back. I'll talk to Aaron myself. And she hung up. I was exhausted from dealing with her and went back to my meeting. After 2 days of meetings, I finally returned home. I was so angry that I didn't even remember how I got there. When I opened the door, I heard Aaron's tired voice saying, welcome back. I took off my heels and went straight to the living room, where I saw a pile of boxes. I was confused until I saw Aaron taping them up. What's with the boxes? I asked. He told me that they were all of my things. Aaron explained that Eliza really had her 60th birthday celebration on the day she called me. She told the family I was rude to her over the phone and that I didn't care about her birthday. Then she told everyone that she was going to make Aaron divorce me and send me back to my parents' house because I wasn't good enough for him. I wasn't surprised by this. Eliza had always been this way. I asked Aaron, so what happened? Your mom told you to get a divorce, and you agreed? No, not exactly, but she told me to pack your things, and I didn't have any choice, Aaron answered with a sigh. I was shocked. Wait, you didn't argue with your mom? You're okay with getting a divorce? Aaron explained that his dad, Alex, also told him, if Eliza's upset, you'll have a hard time, so listen to her. So Aaron just went along with the divorce. I couldn't believe it. Aaron seemed so controlled by his mom, and I couldn't understand why he didn't stand up for me. I was in shock and silent for a moment. Then Aaron said, What my mom says is the final word. It's just until she's not upset anymore. It's just a fake divorce. I'll come back for you once things settle down. He said this with pleading eyes. I couldn't believe how afraid he was of his mother. I started to feel disgusted with myself for marrying him, but then I thought, maybe this was a good opportunity. If I stayed with Aaron, Eliza would keep tormenting me, and I'd always be pressured to get a divorce. Maybe it was a blessing in disguise. I had my own income and could support myself just fine. I didn't need Aaron or his family. In that moment, it was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. I looked at Aaron and said, "Fine, let's get a divorce." I then called Eliza. After a few calls, she answered. "Hello?" she said, and I calmly replied, "As you wish, we're getting a divorce." Eliza sounded happy and replied excitedly, "Yes, finally, you realized you're not good enough for Aaron. Don't worry, I'll find him a better, more obedient wife who'll listen to me." Eliza kept going on with her sarcasm, saying things like, "Aaron will be in high demand, and I'll take care of my son until he finds his next wife, so don't worry about that." After all her remarks, I calmly told her, "Don't misunderstand me, Mother." She was in a good mood and replied, "Oh, aren't you just a sore loser? Don't worry about it." Then she added, "By the way, Gracie, I've got the divorce papers from the city office and gave them to Aaron. Don't forget to sign them." She hung up without saying goodbye. Aaron, who had been listening to our conversation, looked relieved. I couldn't believe how naive Aaron was, so I asked him, "Does your mother know you're a full-time house husband?" He replied, "How could I tell her that? My mom is all about the fact that I work for a big company." I realized that Aaron had never told Eliza the truth about his job. At home, he wore a shabby sweatshirt, but whenever he met Eliza, he dressed in a suit, and when Eliza called during the day, Aaron pretended not to be home, making it look like he was working. Eliza had told everyone at her 60th birthday that Aaron was such a good son, taking time off work just to celebrate with her. She also said that if Aaron wanted, he could easily find a more obedient and prettier wife than me. But I knew that after our divorce, all of this would come to light. Eliza, who thought her son was perfect, would never suspect that Aaron had quit his job a year ago. Aaron had made a huge mistake at work, which led to a written apology, demotion, and pay cut. He probably didn't tell Eliza about it because he knew she would be furious. Since Eliza spoiled Aaron, he became weak and easily upset. When he had to face the consequences of his mistake, he couldn't handle it. He called in sick at first, but eventually, he just stopped showing up to work and got fired. Now, Aaron was relying on my income and had no intention of finding a new job. He hadn't told Eliza the truth because he was too scared of her reaction. I almost wished I could see how shocked she would be when she found out, but it wasn't my problem anymore. Aaron handed me the divorce papers and said, "This is just a cover to convince my mom." I signed them, moved into my new apartment, and started a new chapter. A month later, Eliza called me again. I was surprised, but I answered, "What do you want now? Aren't you happy you got rid of me?" She responded the same way as always, asking about Aaron. After I left, she went to his apartment several times to do housework, but every time, Aaron was just lying around in his room, not working. She asked me if I knew what was going on. I tried not to laugh and said, I see. Well, of course, Aaron has no plans to work again." Eliza, as if forgetting she was the one who kicked me out, asked, "Gracie, can you do something about it?" I couldn't believe she was asking me for help after everything she'd put me through. I answered, "Why should I? You didn't want me in your family, remember?" It was typical of her to only ask for help when it suited her, after treating me so badly for so long. Eliza then said, "Well, I was wondering if you said something to Aaron before you left." I couldn't believe how much she wanted to blame me for everything. Did she really not see the problem with her son, Aaron, and just blame me? I was the one who had been hurt in all of this. She accused me of marrying Aaron for money, thinking I was upset about the divorce because I lost out on a luxurious life. "Are you kidding me?" I responded. "I supported Aaron financially during our marriage. I was the one paying for everything. If anyone should be upset, it's me." I thought about filing for alimony from Aaron, since he had money, but I didn't say anything to her about it. Eliza, shocked, argued, "How dare you make something like that up?" Then she said, "You just forgot to ask for alimony, didn't you? Aaron makes more money than you. If you want money, he can pay whatever you want." She still thought of Aaron as a big shot, working at a major company. I realized maybe she didn't know the truth about Aaron's situation. This could be my chance to get back at her, so I told her, "Your son is a full-time house husband. He quit his job a long time ago." She couldn't believe me. She yelled, "What? You're lying." I just said, "Why don't you check with the company? You'll see who's telling the truth." Eliza was quiet for a moment before saying, "Well, if that's true, what are we going to do? I can't take care of Aaron with just my pension. No one will marry him because he's unemployed. What are we going to do?" Her voice was more desperate now, and it felt good to hear. I smiled to myself. She paused, then started talking to someone next to her. After a moment, she said, "Gracie, will you please come home?" I was confused by her sudden change of tone and replied, "No, we're divorced. I wouldn't come back to your family if the world turned upside down." Then I heard someone nearby, probably her, getting upset. It sounded like they were arguing. "I told you I would come get you back when things cool down," Eliza said. As I listened, I could hear Aaron's voice shouting in the background. "Yes, yes, you could remarry my son, you know." "What are you talking about?" I heard Eliza respond, incredulously. "No way, I wouldn't do it for the world. Don't joke about this, Gracie, thank you, seriously, okay?" I couldn't believe how much she was still trying to manipulate me. I reminded her, "I did what you told me to do, so stop changing your mind so much." She was trying to make it seem like I had no right to refuse her demands. I was fed up with her mind games. "I didn't think you'd actually divorce my son," Eliza finally admitted, her voice betraying her shock. In response, I let her have it. I was just putting up with everything. Besides, Aaron packed up my stuff and kicked me out without any say in it. I went off on her, listing all the ways she had mistreated me. "You see, that was just a prank," she said, trying to brush everything off. I couldn't hold it in any longer. "A prank? It's worse than that," I snapped. I was done with her games. As I looked at my watch, realizing it was almost 1 p.m. and my lunch break was ruined, I finally said, Eliza, are you done now?" "What, Gracie, what did you say?" she cooed in that sugary sweet voice of hers, hoping I'd fall for her charm. But I was over it. "I'm going to hang up now. I have another meeting in a few minutes. I need to go over some documents," I said coldly. As I pulled the phone away from my ear, I could hear her still yelling, "Wait, wait, Gracie, hey, Gracie, say something." Her frantic screams only made me more disgusted. She was always blaming someone else when things didn't go her way. I was done listening. Without a second thought, I hit the end call button and blocked her number. No more of her toxic behavior. After everything that had happened, Aaron contacted me, trying to get back together. He was persistent, but I saw it as an opportunity. I decided to ask my lawyer to help me with alimony. Given how quickly Aaron's family paid up the full amount, I suspected they had advanced the money for him. Apparently, my ex-parents-in-law, Alex and Eliza, were not happy with Aaron's situation. They constantly nagged him to find a job, but Aaron had become so fed up with their constant pressure. It seemed his former elite life had faded away. He couldn't even afford the rent for his apartment and had to return to his parents' house. Now, he was blaming them for the divorce, while they, in turn, blamed him for everything. Instead of taking responsibility, they seemed content to lash out at each other. I heard they were considering applying for welfare soon. If that happens, maybe the government will step in and attempt to correct their warped sense of entitlement and selfishness. As for me, life had taken a better turn. My proposal from the business trip was accepted, and I signed a major contract. This led to a promotion and a significant salary increase. I was living my best life as a rich, independent bachelorette, free from any toxic in-laws or dependent family members. If I ever consider marriage again in the future, you can bet I'll be doing a thorough background check. No more husbands who adore their mothers or families who think they can control me. I've learned my lesson.